SupremeMagus, Chapter 22. Why do you say that? Well, back on my world, being bonded for life with someone you would not have any intimacy was the joke definition of marriage. That's funny, the voice chuckled, and also kind of sad. Never mind the jokes, let me get this straight. You once were a mighty artifact, full of treasures and knowledge, but now everything you had and knew is lost, and you are diminished to the size of a marble. Am I missing something? No. All your statements are correct. Also, you did not pick me because of my talent or virtue, but simply because I possess, and I quote, the bare minimum magical powers to sustain your life. That makes me nothing more than an off-brand life support system. That is not exact. I am now bonded with you until your death do us apart. That sounds more and more like marriage, Lid grunted. I am no parasite. You can see me as a symbiote. We will both benefit from our relationship. How? Are you saying that if you manage to get your strength back, you will also recover your memories and magical artifacts? No, those are lost forever. I'm just like you. When you grow up, can you spit back the food you have eaten in the past to pass it on someone else? No, the same applies to me. Then what's in for me? The pleasure of your company? At the moment, all I can offer you is a pocket dimension. Say what? One moment, I'm looking at your memories to make it easier to understand. It works like a dungeons and looting bag of keeping. That's interesting, Lid pondered. An interdimensional space where I can store my stuff without being hindered by its weight. How big is this pocket dimension? 10 cubic meters big. It can store anything that amounts up to such volume, no matter the weight, as long as it's something inanimated. A cruel intuition flashed in Lid's eyes. Can it also store things like lightnings, fireballs, or incoming arrows? If so, it would be an invaluable tool for both offense and defense. No, the voice killed Lid's hope. The pocket dimension is outside space and time, so it rejects both life and kinetic energy. Feeling its host disappointed, the voice added quickly. This also means that whatever you store will not rot, cool down, or warm up. A roasted blinker would be kept hot and tasty, frozen in the moment you finish cooking it. That barely qualifies as a silver lining. Despite their chat was quite long, it was only happening inside their mind. Barely a second had passed after Lid had accessed the stone's memories. Whatever. At least you saved me from my current predicament. Now, I know how to bring the boar back. I just need a decent excuse to explain how I manage it. The stone mind shrugged. Keep it simple. Drop it to the edge of the woods and tell Celia that you managed to kite it to that spot before killing it. It should be easier to believe than the truth. It nodded. Resourceful and smart. The fact that our minds are linked still creeps me out. But thanks to that, I can see you have no malice or hidden agenda towards me. If you really are what you say to be, I'll keep you. True loyalty is a rare commodity to turn it down when you find it. So, until I am convinced of your good faith, consider yourself on probation. Lid put the pouch back at his neck and the boar in the pocket dimension. By the way, I can keep calling you and Stone. Don't you have a name? No. The voice sounded really sad. It's lost, like everything else. Don't be a pouter. A name is just a name. You can call me Derek, Lid, Hoss, whatever. I'll always be the same cynic, misanthropic, lying, cutthroat guy I have always been. Would you like me to name you? Yes, please. Lid had it ready since he heard the tower's core story. You are supposed to be a great artifact, so I'll name you after the greatest, albeit fictional, magical forge master that I always admired when I was a kid. Solus. Thank you, Lid. I like how it sounds, and I really appreciate you naming me after someone you love, rather than give me a pet name like Happy or Lucky. Lid had the odd feeling Solus was mind-blushing. They spent all the time on the way back chatting. Lid was really interested in understanding the limits and the use of his new partner's skill set. After assessing that both Lid and Solus could activate the pocket dimension, he proceeded to pick the right spot. It needed to be close enough to the edge of the woods and cover enough to make spotting the boar from a distance impossible. There are countless things that can go wrong leaving a dead animal alone, even for a few minutes. A passerby that can claim its kill, a scavenger believing to have lucked out a free meal. Take your pick. With my luck, I never trust the odds. You trust no one. Solus turned to a flat tone. You bet. That's life from rule number 1. Rule number 2 is no good deed goes unpunished. Lit then used earth and wind magic to mess up the surroundings, mimicking the signs of a struggle left by his previous fight with the boar. Bah, all this effort and I get such a sloppy result. If Celia throws a second glance at this scene, she'll expose my lie. I can only hope the prize catches her eyes enough not to make any questions. He then gently dropped the pouch on the ground. As soon as you perceive my signal, take the boar out. I'll be back in a jiffy. Without waiting for a reply, Lit started running at a full speed towards Celia's house. Once out of their mind-link range, 10 meters, Lit could finally breathe a sigh of relief. Damn it, leaving her like that. She surely knows the real reason why I did it. It's hard to accept someone else in your head, reading every single of your most embarrassing thoughts and memories. Not to mention that in Dungeons and Legends, every sentient artifact was usually a bag full of trouble, trying to mind control the owner or something. I know that is just fiction, but still, what if I just stumble in this world lone ring like in Vasily Bolkian's book? Lit shrugged his head, his body covered in cold sweat. I bet that as soon as we are back together, she will have access to this inner monologue too. No pain, no gain. If she really is what she says, she's worth the risk. At least I'll have someone who finally knows the real me. A few minutes later, Celia and Lit were approaching the drop spot, riding the 2-horse cart she used to move around the heaviest goods. Is it really that big to require 2 horses? She asks skeptically. I think one should be enough to move it once it's loaded. The second is necessary to drag it on the cart easily. Once Lit and Celia jumped down the ride, he gave Solus the signal. Celia detached the horses, guiding them by the bridle. Lit took with him the thick ropes necessary to make a harness for the boar, making it easy for the horse to drag it out the woods and into the cart. When Celia saw the game with her own eyes, she whistled in approval. Good gods, this thing must be around 300 kilograms. You weren't boasted as usual. I never boast. Lit used spirit magic to steadily recover the pouch, while Celia was engrossed sizing the beast. Please, all men do. Celia clicked her tongue. You are not an exception. With all your magic and secrets, do you want me to believe you do not enjoy your short, dark, and teethless act? She added, laughing out loud. It's not my fault I have a sleep now. Lit was pissed off by her non-stop mockery of his new voice. Will you ever let me hear the end of it? I'm sorry, I really am. It's just that your tough boy attitude is even more hilarious now that you have a lips. The first time she had heard him curl her Celia, she had laughed hard enough to fall from her chair, hugging her belly. Judging from its size, it was really close to become a magical beast. We could have sold it for much more sum. It's kind of sad, she sighed. Yeah, and if it was a magical beast, I would be much deader now, Lit rebuked. They kept bickering until the boar was safe and sound on the cart. Only once they got back to her house and started bleeding out the game, Celia got her business attitude back. The most valuable piece is the head. If we can find a noble willing to stuff it, hang it over his fireplace, and take the credit for the kill, we can sell it really well. The pelt and the meat are nothing special. Do you have any plans about them? Lit nodded. All this meat will allow me to skip hunting for a while, so I prefer to keep and macerate it. As for the pelt, it should make a nice carpet for my parents' bedroom. Always a family boy, huh? Celia ruffled his hair. This time, there was no mockery in her voice. I'm so proud of you being so considerate towards your family that I'll tan it for free. I still get half of the head price though. Perfect. Good. Our best shot is with Count Lark himself. He is both loaded and very proud of his hunting skills. I must reach my contacts in his manner to test the water. Finger crossed. Lit suffered at the idea of losing so much money, but half was better than nothing. He didn't know how to tan pelts or stuff heads, and lacked both time and instruments to do it. And even if he did, he had no way to sell the merchandise outside his little village. After Lid left Celia, he and Solus started chatting again, feigning ignorance about each other's feelings. Solus, I think that your help will be invaluable to bring my martial arts training to the next level.